Good morning. Welcome to United States Sports Academy and our weekly sports talk program. Today we're going to talk about Super Bowl 50, which is coming up in about 4 days. I'm sure you guys may have heard about it. They're talking a little bit about it on television. In fact, 50 is such a big deal that they even took away the Roman numerals and put the big number 50 up there so they could put it in gold and do all the fancy things that go along with the golden anniversary. Do one of you guys know when was the first Super Bowl that they used Roman numerals? It was Super Bowl 5, Super Bowl V. And the reason they decided to do Roman numerals was because they didn't want to say like the 1967 Super Bowl, because that was for the 66 season. And so since it spanned since the NFL season spans 2 calendar years, they wanted to do it with the Roman numerals. Well, as some of you may know who follow football, in addition to the Super Bowl, today is National Signing Day. It's for all the high school kids to make their formal commitments to the university of their choice to play. Well, it's actually National Signing Day for several sports, but all the publicity is about football. And according to our wonderful producer, Sarah Weber, the up-to-the-minute list is Florida State #1, the Ohio State University #2, Alabama 3, Ole Miss 4, and LSU 5. So three of the top 5 teams from the Southeast Conference. No surprise there. I would say Florida State and Ohio State are no surprise. Jimbo Fisher and Urban Meyer always recruit well, no matter where they are. Ole Miss a little bit of surprise. Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze has done a good job since he's been there, and there are some skeptics who think that the only reason that Hugh Freeze went to Ole Miss in the first place because he brought Michael Orr with him. So he went there as assistant coach, to say, I'm sure it was just a coincidence that he went there the same year that Michael Orr did. But anyway, Michael will be playing left tackle for the Carolina Panthers, covering Cam Newton's blind side, if you can remember the movie Blind Side. So Super Bowl 50. For those of you who are Carolina Panther fans, our bookstore has a special this week. We have a poster called Super Cam. Obviously, it illustrates his days at Auburn, and it was done by a pretty famous sports artist named Rick Rush. They're on sale this week in honor of Cam being in the Super Bowl and most likely the most valuable player when it's announced on Saturday evening. And they're on sale this week, $20 for unsigned and $30 for a sign. And I must tell you, the sign was signed by the author, not by Cam Newton himself. So if you go to the website and click on the bookstore link, if you want to buy one of those pictures of Super Cam, the 2010 Heisman Trophy winner and our 2010 Alabama Male Athlete of the Year. And Rick Rush was also our sports artist of the year in 2011. So here we are, Super Bowl 50. Obviously, there's been 49 of them in the past. The NFC has won 27 times. The AFC has won 22 times. And what's interesting is it's kind of gone in streaks. The AFC won 11 of the first 15. And then after that, the NFC ran off 16 in a row from 16 to 31. And then it's kind of gone back and forth since then. But we got Denver at 14-4 and Carolina at 17-1. I think Carolina has a chance to become the 3rd team ever to win 18 games. I know the 85 Bears, not the 4th team. The 85 Bears, one of the 49er teams went 18-1, and of course Patriots went 18-1, but on the wrong end of the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So Carolina has a chance to move into some pretty lofty company if they're able to win this week. This is the 8th Super Bowl for the Broncos. The Patriots, Cowboys, and Steelers have also been in 8. And this is the 2nd for the Panthers, having lost Super Bowl 38 to the Patriots. So Brett, by the way, when we did a NFL playoff preview show, the 3 of us about 5 weeks ago, picked Carolina and Denver to play in the Super Bowl.
That's correct.
I'll let you brag a little bit.
I missed one game.
You missed Kansas City, Pittsburgh, didn't you?
No, I missed New England. I had Cincinnati beat New England earlier in the playoffs, and I had Cincinnati playing Denver for the chance to go to the Super Bowl. But I think it's going to be closer than the experts think. I understand that Carolina is 17-1, but there's a lot of firsts behind them right now. I mean, Cam Newton's a great player, but having been a former athlete, they get a little nervous as well. and I think he's going to feel some nerves a little bit. And I think Denver defense is pretty darn good. And if everybody wants to compare games and things like that. Yes, they beat Phoenix 31-0, and we're up 31-0 at halftime against Seattle, but the score ended up 31-24. So, yeah, I think defense is going to be the name of the game.
Think it's going to be low scoring?
I do. I don't think it's going to be, and it could go either way. I mean, if things happen like it did last year, or last year with Denver, when they had the snap over Manning's head 2 years ago, snap over his head. There's nerves for everybody. You got to play those into the equation, I think. But it could go and be a lopsided game as well.
Mark Cuban tweeted right after that he had bet $250,000 that the first score of the Super Bowl would be a safety at like 20-1 odds, but then he later said he just made it up. That would have been a nice bet.
That would have been a nice bet.
So we'll get our final predictions a little bit later. But Ben, how do you think generally the game is going to go?
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Simmermacher. I think defense is going to be key for Denver. The two guys I'm going to be paying attention to are DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, the outside linebackers, because they have to spy Cam Newton the whole game.
Somebody.
And they're going to be key. Can they prevent him from getting outside the pocket, but at the same time kind of cover the middle of the field? Really, I think that's going to be the key to this game is the Denver linebackers. And how can they prevent Cam Newton from getting whatever he wants at any time? And they were able to do it against Tom Brady. They got to Brady in the AFC Championship game on almost every play.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cam Newton's a different type of player, very agile, can get out of the pocket, but there's still hope there that Denver can do that.
I think another big plus for Cam over Brady is the fact that New England virtually had no running game against Denver. And Carolina has had 31 consecutive games where they've had at least 100 yards rushing as a team, and Stewart's had a good run in the playoffs. So I think that the running game will help Cam Newton. Plus what you talked about with the agility. I personally think it's going to be a blowout, but we'll get to our final score predictions here at the end. The other interesting thing, there's a lot of talk about the veteran quarterback. If Peyton Manning wins, he'll be the oldest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl. Cam Newton will be the youngest, but obviously this is his first Super Bowl. I read an interesting article yesterday that says statistically, based on one season, Peyton Manning is the worst starting quarterback in Super Bowl history this year. And he didn't have a great year. A lot of it was injury related. And I'm sure that 2 years ago you talked about the game against Seattle. He had one of the great regular seasons of all time. I'm sure he would rather have a lousy regular season like he did this year and win the Super Bowl than have 51 TD passes and get blown out in the Super Bowl.
Plus, there's a lot of speculation that this could be his last game.
Yeah, evidently he whispered to Belichick something to that.
And now, I don't know if you've heard the latest, but I heard the latest was that he might sign with the Rams and go to LA. That's one of the rumors.
Speculation.
Okay, he wants to play a couple more years. That he's told some folks. I find that hard to believe myself.
I think if they win, he should retire.
I agree.
I mean, how many great players have we been able to experience who just basically said this is it, and we're able to, Jerome Bettis won his last game in the Super Bowl. John Elway. There's not many more that you can think of right off the top of your head.
The only thing in baseball I can remember recently is Jeter got the game-winning hit in his last game, not the playoffs or anything, but his last game that he played in. Maybe it was the playoffs, but
No,
I don't think they made it that year. But he got the game-winning hit.
Well, right now in Vegas, the Panthers are favored by anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5 points, and that's kind of gone back and forth over the week. Some other interesting facts about the Super Bowl. In most valuable players, there's been 27 quarterbacks win most valuable player, including Joe Montana and Tom Brady with 3 apiece. There's been 7 running backs, 7 wide receivers. I threw Desmond Howard in the wide receiver category, even though he was mostly a kick returner, and 9 defensive players which is kind of interesting. Back in Super Bowl V, a game I was actually at, I actually was at 6 of the first 10 Super Bowls and haven't been to one since. But in Super Bowl V, Chuck Howley was the most valuable player, a linebacker for the Cowboys, and he's still the only player on the losing team to win MVP.
Just a little tidbit about that. You going to 6 of the first 10. Well, tickets are a little higher.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story about the kicker from, I think it's Denver's kicker,
I have not known.
the punter? He just had a child a week ago. He had to pay $1,800 for his daughter's ticket
Wow.
to go to the Super Bowl.
Baby being held by mom.
1 week old.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And it's not about money. The NFL's not about money.
I actually have tickets to Super Bowl II, Packers and Raiders. In fact, it wasn't called Super Bowl. It was called the NFL Championship game. It doesn't say Super Bowl anywhere on the ticket. The face value on those 2 tickets is $7.50. And so it's
Quite a bit
it has changed. It has changed a little
What
bit.
year was that?
If you do the math real quick, you'll see that 27,779 adds up to 50. That's because in Super Bowl 12, Harvey Martin and who's the other guy? Randy White were co-MVPs as the defense dominated Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 12.
Was that the one where Swan made the catch?
No, that
That was in Miami.
that was Super Bowl 10.
Yeah.
Cowboys and Steelers.
So you saw that live?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
And I had tickets to Super Bowl 13 when the Cowboys and the Steelers played again, but I didn't get to go because I was supposed to go to officer training school in the Air Force in March, and they called me on Friday in the middle of January and said report Monday.
Oh my!
So I gave tickets to my buddy. Still haven't seen the game. I've seen the replay of Jackie Smith dropping the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
Cowboys. That was a game. Speaking of betting for entertainment purposes only, that was the game that was known as Black Sunday in Las Vegas because the spread fluctuated between 4.5 and 3.5, and the Steelers ended up winning 35-31. So there were a lot of the big money gamblers in Las Vegas won both bets. They had Pittsburgh minus 3.5, and they had Dallas plus 4.5. And it was the worst. It was the worst football day in Las Vegas history. Just an interesting sidebar there for those of you who want to make a small wager. There have been 19 different franchises win the Super Bowl. Steelers lead with 6, 49ers and Cowboys 5 each, Patriots, Giants, and Packers 4 each, Raiders and Redskins 3 each, and then a bunch of 2s and a bunch of 1s. The interesting thing is there's been 9 teams that have played the Super Bowl and at least once and never won it, but there's 4 teams that have never even been to the Super Bowl. And 2 of them, the Detroit Lions and Cleveland Browns, are original NFL franchises. And, you know, the one thing you can say about them, though, is they both won multiple championships before it became the Super Bowl. You know, the Paul Brown teams were legendary in the 50s. And then the Texans and the Jaguars, they're relatively new to the business. So let's make some predictions now. Give us what you think the final score of the game is.
I'm going to go with Madden. Have you heard that one?
No.
In the Madden game, they put the Broncos
Playing like
versus
10
the Carolina,
I heard.
and Cam Newton makes a drive in the last 2 minutes of the game, and they win 24-20. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I think Carolina's going to get out to an early lead, and then Denver's going to kind of slowly work their way back in. I think it's going to be 27-21, but then I agree. I think Cam Newton's going to go on a drive in the 4th quarter, score a touchdown, and put it out of reach. 34-21, Carolina.
I like his score better than your score.
I'm just going by what Madden. The game goes.
They do those computer things. They play the game like 100,000 times in 5 minutes or something.
Right.
They've been right.
Huh? I think it's gonna get ugly early. I think it's gonna resemble the Carolina Arizona game, and I predict the final score is going to be 42-9. And the only reason it's going to be 9 is because Denver's going to go for 2 for some reason on their last touchdown and not get it.
So you think Carolina's offense is that much better than Denver's defense?
I think Denver's defense is good, but I don't think they've faced a team that can both run and pass the ball like Carolina in the playoffs.
What I'll be interested to see is if Peyton Manning struggles big early, will they ever look to Brock Osweiler as a replacement, maybe after halftime, especially if Peyton has a terrible first half?
Yeah.
Is that even a possibility, or Are they going to
I
stick
don't
with
think it
Peyton?
will be.
You don't think
I
so?
just,
I think the only way that Osweiler gets in, two ways. One is an injury, and two, if the game's out of hand, they put him in not to lead a comeback, but just to get
right.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I don't think they would pull the plug on Peyton.
No.
Okay, so one last prediction: who's going to be the MVP?
I think Cam Newton's going to be the MVP.
I think it's going to be Ted Ginn Jr. I think he's going to catch 2 touchdown passes, and he'll catch the one that seals it for the Panthers.
You should like that pick. Where do you go to college?
Ohio State.
Yeah.
The Ohio State
Yeah.
University. Yeah, Ted Ginn, Cam Newton's made him look good after several unsuccessful stops
Yeah.
around the National Football League. I think it's going to be Cam, but I'd like it to be one of the 2 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Thomas Davis have a good game playing with a broken arm, and Luke Kuechly's been awesome
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs. He's had pick 6 in both playoff games, and I think if they do dominate defensively, that it could be one of the linebackers. But I think pretty much everybody's spring loaded to the Cam position. I have one more quick question before we sign off. Cam Newton is the 7th black quarterback to start the Super Bowl. Can you name the other 6?
Doug Williams. Randall Cunningham?
No.
No?
The point I wanted to make there is that I think it's good that we can't remember the other 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember back in '88 when Doug Williams was the first black quarterback, that's all they talked about, the entire 2-week build-up. In fact, there's the either famous or infamous, however you want to look at it, question that one of the reporters that asked Doug Williams, how long have you been a black quarterback during the press day? He's number 7, and
Steve McNair would be one.
Steve McNair.
McNair would be
It's
one.
Doug Williams, Steve McNair, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Donovan McNabb,
Yeah.
and there's one more. Yeah, there's one more in there somewhere. Anyway, the point I was going to make that I think it's good that we can't just rattle off the 7 of them, because it doesn't seem to be that. We've heard of it a little bit this week. I think just because Cam's so spectacular, but we heard hardly anything in the last 2 years about Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Kaepernick played, we didn't hear much of anything.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you have our predictions. We all picked Carolina.
Mhm.
2 of us in a close game, 1 of us in a blowout. We'll see how well we do on Sunday. The kickoff is at 3:30. So for those of you who can't do the math, it's 6:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 here, 3:30 in Santa Clara, California. Beautiful new stadium. I've never been to a football game there, but I've seen the stadium. It's pretty impressive new place where the 49ers play. And we hope it's a good game. It would not break my heart to see Peyton Manning win his last game and ride off into the sunset. I think that'd be a great storybook ending. But being an Auburn grad, of course, I'll be rooting for Cam. And I'm usually an AFC guy, but I'm gonna root for Cam and the Panthers. That would kind of cap off a national championship at Blinn Community College, a national championship at Auburn University, and a Super Bowl championship. Anyway, everybody have a great week in sports. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time.